I thought the worst thing my HOA could do was send another ridiculous violation notice. I was wrong. One afternoon, I discovered bulldozers carving roads across land that legally belonged to me. By the time I confirmed the survey, 35 brand new homes were already under construction. The HOA president smiled and said, "You should be grateful for the neighborhood improvement." They believed I would quietly accept it. I stayed calm, thanked them for their confidence, and walked away. They never asked why I looked so relaxed. They had forgotten one small detail. The land also controlled the only dam protecting everything they had built. The property had been in my family for decades. My grandfather built the small dam to manage seasonal floods, and every legal document clearly showed the surrounding land belonged to us. The HOA never asked for permission. They relied on an outdated map and rushed the project before anyone questioned it. When I confronted the board, the president laughed and said the homes were already approved, so ownership no longer mattered. A few neighbors quietly admitted they had warned the HOA but were ignored. Instead of apologizing, they sent me a notice claiming I was interfering with community development. I smiled, folded the letter, and drove home without another word. They thought they had won. That was just the beginning. After that, the HOA stopped pretending they cared about doing things properly. They started acting like my land had always belonged to them. They installed private signs, blocked access roads, and even sent me invoices for maintenance costs on property I never gave them permission to use. The HOA president called me one evening and said, "You need to understand something. Those homes are already sold. Nobody is going to let one person stop progress." I almost laughed. They were so confident because they believed construction had made them untouchable. Then the threat started. They warned me about legal fees, community complaints, and endless court battles. A few homeowners even confronted me, angry that their dream houses were connected to a mistake they didn't create. I didn't blame the families. They were victims too. But the HOA board had gambled with everyone's future. While they celebrated their new neighborhood, I was quietly collecting documents, surveys, and old records. Every signature, every approval, and every shortcut they took was another piece of evidence. They thought the dam was just an old structure on my property. They didn't realize it was the key to proving exactly who was in control. And when I finally revealed my plan, their confidence began to disappear. I stopped arguing with the HOA because arguments were exactly what they wanted. Instead, I let the paperwork speak. I hired a surveyor, reviewed decades of property records, and found the mistake they hoped nobody would notice. The land under those homes was never transferred, not once. The most powerful moment came when I stood beside the old dam with the official documents in my hand. The same structure they ignored was the reason their entire development existed. I didn't rush. I didn't threaten anyone. I simply followed the law. While the HOA prepared for another meeting full of excuses, I prepared something different. I placed every piece of evidence on the table, showed the ownership records, and watched their confidence slowly crack. The board members who once laughed at me suddenly stopped making eye contact. Their biggest mistake was believing they could build something permanent on a foundation of someone else's property. Now the truth was ready to surface, and their perfect neighborhood was about to face the consequences of their own decisions. The day of the hearing arrived, and the HOA walked in expecting another easy victory. They brought lawyers, documents, and confident smiles. But when my records were presented, the room went silent. The official survey confirmed the truth. The 35 homes were sitting on land they never legally owned. The HOA president looked through the papers again and again, searching for a loophole that wasn't there. The judge's decision was the moment everything changed. The construction approvals, the hidden mistakes, and the ignored warnings all came crashing down. Outside the courtroom, neighbors who once blamed me finally understood what had happened. I looked at the HOA president and simply said, "You built your dream on my land. I only showed everyone the foundation." Looking back, I never wanted to destroy anyone's homes or create chaos. I only wanted the truth to matter. The HOA believed money, power, and a finished neighborhood could erase ownership. They learned the hard way that paperwork speaks louder than promises. Sometimes the quiet person in the room isn't powerless. They are simply waiting for the right moment. A lesson I'll never forget. Never build something on land you don't own and assume nobody will notice. What would you have done if an HOA built on your property? Comment "Justice served" if you made it to the end. And remember, sometimes the biggest comeback starts with staying calm.